Welcome to the Four Brewers podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris,
Tim Mather.
And this week on the show, we're drinking beers from Wild Fields Brew House out of Atascadero, California. But before we get to that, we've got a special guest on the show this week. It's been a while. It's been a while since she's been on the show. Welcome, Miss Sarah Kidd, to the show. How you doing, Sarah?
Guys? How's it going?
Welcome.
We're doing good. How are you? How have you been?
Oh, man, just taking it day by day.
Yeah, same here. That's all you can really do at this point. Well, welcome back, Sarah. Hope you have some fun. And as I mentioned, we're drinking beers from Wild Fields Brew House, which is from, like I said, Atascadero, California, which is from Sarah's neck of the woods. She grew up in Paso Robles. Is that correct?
That's true. Go Bearcats. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim also.
South of there, but close enough.
Yeah, where'd you grow up, Tim?
Pismo Beach.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
No, well,
I definitely know
all the
Atascadero.
clams and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, we've got 6 beers that we could choose from this week. We decided to go with 4. Ryan, co-founder of Wild Fields, he hit us up about a week ago and asked if we wanted some of their beers, and we made it happen. So we all have their beers, and I'm pretty stoked about it. In case you're unfamiliar with Ryan Fields or Wild Fields, just a brief history on them. Ryan Fields came from Beechwood Brewing. He worked at the blendery at Beechwood Brewing, and he worked at Pizza Port San Clemente. So he's got some history behind him. He was actually on the show with us when we went down to the blendery when it first opened, and dude knows a lot about beer. So these beers that we got, I'm assuming they're going to get into like wild stuff and barrel stuff and whatnot. But the place just opened, I want to say last year or something like that. So they're just getting their feet wet with these beers.
If you think back to Blendery, I think they took a year before they actually had product to release.
Yeah, Blendery went through this whole propagation process with making. They were releasing beers, but they were basically beers that they were fermenting with their bugs and whatnot, as to kind of prop up their bugs and to see what they could do. And it took them a while to get things actually rolling, where they were putting out beers on a regular basis that were wild and sour and whatnot.
Also worth noting that Sarah and I are just a wall apart.
That's true.
She's in a teenager's bedroom. She doesn't normally have Nerf guns in the background.
No,
if you're confused,
that's disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I taught him everything I know.
Because they live together, guys. That's why.
Oh.
I was really more like, this is why Sarah's got an epic gaming chair and Nerf rifles behind her.
Oh, yeah. The gaming chair is pretty nice.
Jason just got his fridge.
That's right.
I'm also much more well lit.
Yeah.
Jason has his dark beer cave.
You are, yeah. That's a stark difference. Jason needs to work on that lighting. Don't you have a light, Jason?
Look, Sarah worked on it for a little while. She was having fun, it seemed.
Yeah, I definitely did. I was like, no, I need a little bit more shadow over in this corner.
You don't have a TikTok ring light behind your monitor, Jason?
I should. I didn't get one.
And I should also mention that, like I said, Ryan Fields, he's the co-founder. His wife is also another co-founder. She's also been in the beer industry for a while, since 2006. I think she's most famously known for working at Beechwood Barbecue. That's where I first met her. And then she was at Pizza Port for a while as well. So they both come from the same breed of beer folks, which is pretty cool. And they took that beer ethic up north. So I mean, they're joining a bunch of awesome breweries as it is that are up there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're going to fit in quite well.
It's
So,
kind of exciting seeing more growth up in that area. I mean, obviously, like Paso Robles and Atascadero have had Firestone and a few others up there, but working your way down that coastal area like San Luis Obispo, and obviously down in what we call like the 5 cities, which is the Pismo Beach area. Just I've mentioned this before, but I haven't really been back there since I graduated high school. But the times that I have gone back and visited, it's like, oh, well, shit, there's a brewery like right on the main drag in Grover Beach now. And there's a brewery here. And my friends who are still in the area, like, oh yeah, these new places popped up. And I know it's been like long enough for that to happen, but it still feels strange to me to think like, oh, this is like this sleepy town. And now there's all these crazy good breweries popping up everywhere.
I feel exactly the same way about Paso. Definitely. I graduated and I moved down to Southern California after high school. So I definitely wasn't in the drinking age. But then coming back to visit family in Paso, and now I have family that live in Atascadero too. And it's like, oh man, there's some really good stuff out here. And my brother who lives out there, he's like, oh yeah, super casual. We went to a couple breweries just hanging out. I'm like, man, that nothing like that was there when I was growing up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there were a few like bars or like bar-ish restaurants that a lot of people would hang out at, especially like in San Luis Obispo with being a college town.
Definitely, yeah.
And I mean, Firestone had obviously always been up in that area. And whenever I came back to visit before other breweries opened, we would go to Firestone, make the trip up there. But exactly like you said, now it's just I have these friends who are like, oh yeah, I picked up the latest release from this place, and this place is coming online, and this place, and I'm just like, wait, what? Huh? What? Where?
Yeah, they get the privilege of living in a gorgeous area and also get really good beer. Yeah. So kind of bummed, but super excited for everyone that lives up there.
Yeah, exactly.
So the first beer on deck from Wild Fields, we're going to start light with a Czech Pils. This is their Czech Pils called Riven. This is a 5.3% beer, and it's pretty much just straight up a Czech Pils, which, if you're going to open a new brewery, it's nice to have some kind of a lager or a Pils on tap. We've got a bunch of IPAs coming up as well, but naturally. But it's always cool to see a new brewery having a Pils or a lager right out of the gate.
I think it's a mark of quality, and it's also if a brewery doesn't do well at that, they're probably not going to do well at other stuff. So
look at that.
It's a sign that they're doing what they're supposed to. Also, I'd like to note they have these cool. Were these from them or somewhere else, John? These
the disposable 4 rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
awesome.
They use the disposable cardboard can rings, which is
that's so good. I'm so excited. I remember reading about that and like doing a segment on that like 2 years ago, or maybe even longer. Like whenever Drinking Socially I was still doing that, and there was like a place out of Florida, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're starting this thing." I'm like, "Come on, please catch on."
Yeah, local to me, Escape Brewing out of Redlands. That was the first place I saw use them, and you can actually get maybe 2 uses out of them. Like they're obviously they're made out of cardboard and they're made for one-time use. But if you wanted to like do a mix kind of thing and take them apart like I did with Jason's, I brought them over in the rings, and they do work, but they're definitely one-time use. Which it's cardboard. It's fine. It's way more recyclable than the plastic ones. Especially not even talking about the plastic thin ones, like
those hard plastic cap top things.
Yeah, they're all using those, and those are just, I think, even worse. Just for as far as breaking down over time, it sucks.
Yeah,
and I have a whole stack of them in my garage that I've been collecting since quarantine. So
yeah, if you look behind Jason, he has a stack of probably at least 8, maybe, that are all just kind of piled up.
Yeah, I think I have close to 20, 25, something like that. A mix
it's been a wild quarantine for John.
There's nothing to do, so I'm going to drink beer.
These are recyclable, though, according to the label, unlike the little cheapy ones, the little thin ones that kill turtles or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just cardboard versus plastic. I think it's just a better thing to use the cardboard than the plastic.
Oh, sure.
Avoid plastic altogether.
You can throw that in the composter.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah. It's a good idea.
Sarah lights up, getting to feed the composter.
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne wants a composter. I've been fighting it, but...
man. It's, not to make this composter talk, but I've had one since this coming October will be 3 years, and I've never emptied it, and it only stays 25% full. It just decomposes.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. Like you let your spinach go a little too long, you can't eat it, just toss it in there. Same thing with like cutting potatoes, carrots, whatever, just throw the peels in there, and it's great. I don't put any of that in the trash anymore.
Do bugs have access to it, or is it like sealed up?
It is open air. The one that I have is on the ground, and then it's like a dome that you can seal, so like critters can't get in there. But
like a little
bugs
tiny
can get
igloo
in.
or something. But
Yeah.
Okay. You
Mhm.
people with space. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I know it is in the backyard. It is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Yvonne wants to put in, like, she wants to grow her own vegetables and stuff, and I was going to make like those above ground planters. Those are super easy to make. It takes like a
Right.
weekend to make maybe
Mhm.
4 or 5 of them, and I'm on a third of an acre. Like, I have plenty of room for that stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm still like, I don't know, I don't feel like dealing with it. I'm kind of a jerk when it comes to that, but she's like, dude, just like, we got to
You-
buy the thing. I'll take care of it. I'm like,
You can get your own garden going, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a cool idea, and I'm sure Yvonne would take care of it. But now that she's back in school, we're gonna probably just put that on hold for
You
another
guys
year.
are in the
Um,
desert, so watering would be an issue too.
Yeah, but we have sprinklers back there, so I can tap into those and do like a drip line thing, and I could pull it off. Like I have the tools and I have the knowledge to do it. I just don't have the I don't know.
Gumption.
Yeah. So Riven, what do you guys think?
This is
I've been
great.
so busy with compost chat, I haven't even tried it yet.
Compost Corner. It's a new segment.
I really like it. It's really fresh. It finishes very clean. For a hot summer day, it is perfect.
You know what they avoid? It has a good it's pretty bitter for a pill. It's a Czech pill, so it's going to be on the bitterer side. But it has that noble hoppy character, but without that I can only describe as Euro funk. There's not as much of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit cleaner. Which
What do you mean by Eurofunk?
the funk that you tend to get on European noble hop beers.
Yeah.
Just kind of a
Like a hint of armpit.
a little bit.
It's got like an imported Czech Pilsner with noble hops. Like there's definitely a distinct smell. I feel like on this, just like you said, I get the hop without the funk, and it does finish quite it's very smooth, but it definitely is more on like the bitter bite side, which I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I could drink a liter of this for sure. This is really good.
Yeah,
Liter of cola.
This is a leader, definitely.
I like having that bite in there because it seems like over the last 2 or 3 shows, we've had Pilsners that are basically, they're more corn heavy than anything else, which I enjoy, but they're not bitter forward, and having that bitter forward clean profile is pretty refreshing. Yeah, especially right now since it's so hot and the West Coast is on fire.
Yeah, well, it's starting to clear up. The sky was blue today. We commented on that.
Yeah.
It's not just the yellow haze.
You're much closer, but out here on the west side, it's blue. And I checked this morning; the air quality was about 50 as opposed to 150.
Ooh, that's an
Yeah,
improvement.
yesterday it was like 80 for me out here, where at its height it was like 130, I think.
I ordered a air purifier and also like a MERV 12 filter for my HVAC to try to just kind of keep the air in here fucking a little bit less gnarly.
Air inside our house has been fine. I mean, there was a couple times where Yvonne, she's in the habit of opening the front door and our back sliding door in the morning, and she did it last weekend. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm opening the windows. It's kind of stuffy in here." I'm like, "You realize it's smoky outside? Like, it's not going to have the intended effect." She's like, "Fine, I guess I'll close the windows." I'm like, "Yeah,
As
wait till
ash
next
comes
weekend."
piling in, yeah.
Yeah." Our house has been smoky at one point, but it's only because I left pizzas in the oven overnight.
I
And
don't
then
think that counts.
Overnight. Oh my
Well,
god,
no.
that's even better.
it was
John wakes
after,
up.
it was after one of our recording sessions, and so we know how we store them in the oven to keep them out from the dog. So I left them in the oven, and then I got up the next day to cook something, and I turned the oven on, and the next thing I know, there's smoke bellowing out. And
God.
yeah,
Wait, are you telling me that you've been ordering the pizza the entire time?
No,
Wait,
this
you
was
still
like a year ago.
you
Yeah.
still order Mountain Mike's? Well, you just eat
How,
it.
how dare you? I
Oh
thought
man,
that was a thing.
there's one in the neighboring city, but they're a little bit too far to do delivery. But every so often, we've checked out there probably 2 or 3 times since quarantine just to get those sweet, sweet little curly peps.
Yeah,
Love those curled peps.
Little grease cups, man.
Yeah, those little curly peps.
This is actually on that note. This is definitely a pizza and beer kind of beer.
Oh
It'd
yeah,
be so good.
little curly peps would be great with this beer.
Yeah, this
Maybe what if they were floating in there? Little curly pep beer. I picture you drinking your beer out of your little curly peps.
oh man, that would be amazing.
like Willy Wonka, you just drink the
Yeah.
beer and then
And then you eat it.
Somebody needs to do it. There's got to be an edible beer cup somewhere.
I mean legally probably.
Well,
It'd be gross though. They're always made out of sugar, so
that's true.
I guess it would go with modern beer now. Dude, like
You could hollow out like a hard salami.
What the That sounds absolutely disgusting.
I'm sure
And I
I'm gonna
like
get
salami.
a sugar cup for my triple marshmallow froze to go inside.
That's what I was
fucking
thinking.
Great.
Like something for a pastry stout or something.
There you go.
Dude, the frozen slushy stouts, it's like, I swear to God.
Wait,
I keep
slushy
thinking,
stout?
or no, not slushy stouts.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, probably, but yeah.
Somewhere.
Or like frozen slushy beers where they're just like neon green. It's just like, dude, you're just drinking slush puppies at this point. Like, just go to Sonic Burger. You can save yourself a line.
But it's got alcohol in it, man. Like
You
Just
could
pour,
just fix that.
pour a
some vodka
mini
in it.
vodka bottle into a cherry limeade from fucking Sonic Burger, and there you go.
Just put it upside down like a Corona Rita.
Exactly.
Yeah, overall the ribbon is really good. Like we said, it's that bitter edge to it is really, really nice, and it's got a nice crisp, clean finish that I want to drink the rest of this after we're
And
done.
I think it's a style that's often very mediocre. And they're doing it really well. This is a really good beer. It's above average for sure. I like it. Doing the next one, we're gonna do the red ale.
Yeah, you guys want to pre-pour that?
Ooh, I haven't
Yeah,
had a red ale in a
Jason,
long
Sarah?
time.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we figured red ale would be more interesting than a hoppy.
Yeah, well, it's nice to mix it up because we haven't done. I don't think we've done a red ale in forever.
They're few and far between.
I've got an order actually. I have to go pick up at Highland Park today.
What?
I got the juice, the fruit, the whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it's one of the fruit juice things, and which is like a passion fruit and grapefruit wheat ale,
Okay.
and then their Feist
That
beer,
sounds good.
Fest beer. I'm like, I gotta find all the Oktoberfests because I forgot it's time for them.
'Tis the season.
Yeah,
We should do an Oktoberfest next week.
I
Anyways.
will. If I can find enough, I am so down for that. I will buy all of them because it is like my favorite style.
Sold.
Why does the Twitch alert do that? Hang on a second. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, there's people watching. We don't need to troubleshoot that.
Yeah.
It's been like that for months. So
Well, it changes. I think what's happening is it changes the title, but not the description, and so that's what it shows you on the description.
yeah, probably.
Hey, you haven't been showing the big picture.
I know. I forgot the last one. Sorry.
Ooh, this is pretty.
Okay, next up from Wild Fields Brewhouse, we're drinking Cosmo Canyon. This is a 6% alcohol by volume red ale made with Cascade, Columbus, Centennial, and Chinook hops.
Holy crap, those hops bounce right off.
It smells great.
Yeah, this definitely be like a West Coast, I think, interpretation.
Yeah, I mean,
West
honestly,
Coast red?
when I'm hearing that hop bill and thinking of red ale, I'm thinking Arrogant Bastard. Honestly,
yeah,
like,
that's a good
that
point.
hop bill to me is like, okay, we're gonna get something in the Arrogant Bastard vein.
Oh yeah.
It's lower alcohol though; it's 6%.
especially having the Chinook in there. Chinook is a pretty intense hop.
Oh,
I think
it's
that's-
way on the nose. It's way brighter. There's a ton of pininess to this. That Centennial is coming through really big.
Yeah, that caramel malt character is really shining through as well. It's like a very bright, almost like candy.
Oh man, how fresh is this? It smells so fresh. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Nine,
you can
nine, three.
smell the
9.3.
hoppiness on it. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago this is brewed. Yeah,
It-
the hops are
Oh,
just
wow.
bursting out of this glass.
I think I can't. I want to say that the last time I dry hopped a homebrew, which was years ago, I used Chinook, and it was obviously I don't even know if that's a good one to use, but this is just the smell of this. I can get the exact. I can just remember when I smelled the whole cones.
Yeah, this has that really kind of danky, citrusy character, but still like a very bright, malty nose, where the nose, as far as the malts go, is almost coming off like chocolate to me. It's like citrus chocolatey, like light chocolate citrus on the aroma for me. It's very interesting, very bright and fresh.
Yeah, it manages to be very malty. They describe it in their official description as malt forward and hop backward. But it is a very hoppy beer, and it has a nice bright hop finish. That it avoids being super danky, which I would expect actually out of Columbus and Chinook.
Yeah.
But it ends up just being really, like I said, for me, it's all pine is the character I'm getting out of the hop. And I really think it works well with that very sweet caramel malt back. This is a really good red ale. If they were all this good, people would probably make more of them and buy more of them.
And drink more of them. Yeah.
I think what's really striking me about this is how bright it is on the aroma. Like it's a very interesting nose. Typically, we're so used to drinking just regular like IPA or West Coast IPA, hazy IPA, where it's just you kind of get a little bit of malt character in there, but it's more of like a bready character. But it's all about like either piney hops or citrus hops or something like that. Where with this, the way the darker malts are interacting with the piney, fruity hops is very interesting and like a nice change of pace for me.
Yeah,
it's almost reminding me of the like black IPA where you get kind of that sweet caramelly. Well, you'll have a lot more roast on a black IPA, but you're still getting that bright hoppy character like you'd get out of like a Wookie Jack or something, back in the day. Very cool, a fun diverge from the norm too. 'Cause definitely not a flavor combo we get a lot of.
Yeah, and since Wild Fields, it's also like a restaurant kind of setup. This would go well, very, very well with some like foods like meats or like a brat or something.
A salami cup.
A salami cup.
Oh,
Pour
my.
this beer out of a salami cup.
I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm getting a lot more like hop character than malt character, at least for my side. But
No,
as you
yeah,
mentioned, like
it's hoppy.
Yeah, like the brightness is what even on like the sensory side, not necessarily like the way that it feels on the flavor palette is a lot brighter. It definitely has that sort of toasty feel on the back, which is really cool. This is not what I would expect from any typical red ale, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think they take a style that honestly, I'm like, okay, a red ale. These are kind of boring. Let's check it out and see how it goes. And it's like, oh, this is actually really interesting and good, which I think is a really good sign. Taking kind of an underappreciated style and breathing some life into it. That's a really solid beer.
Yeah, I appreciate any brewer that will do that because there's obviously, as we all know, so many styles out there. And just to see, another IPA or another this or that is okay, cool, whatever. But to see these interesting styles come back and actually do them in a consumable way, as opposed to like, we found this crazy wild like old school style, and we're gonna do all this crazy stuff to it. Like just kind of taking an old style and doing it right, giving it a slight twist. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, super. It's honestly a surprise how much I like this. Like it's normally I think it would be a bit of a chore, especially in the middle of the summer to get through a big red ale like this. But this is just like, you just kind of want to keep sipping on it.
Jason's stamp of approval. Sorry.
It'd probably translate well to like colder weather as well, just because it's, you could still have that nice malt character and that bright hop character and still be kind of a richer warming beer.
I'd
Yeah.
like to do a side by side with this and Red Trolley from Carl
Oh,
Strauss.
that'd be interesting. I think
And
Red Trolley definitely lands more on the malty side.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
probably not as hoppy for sure.
That'd be kind
But
of cool
I do
though.
feel like this would be good with chili.
I can,
Oh,
I can
Hmm.
see that.
Kevin's chili.
Yes.
Probably the best thing he does. So up next,
Oh
Well,
shit.
I guess you guys want to pre-pour?
I will go and
Yeah.
retrieve beer.
Chug it. You gotta have multiple glasses, Tim.
I know. I didn't.
I've got
Whoops.
3, so
Well, you're fancy.
Fields Trip.
yeah.
I will say this is not a chugging beer.
No, it is not.
That Czech Pilsner, on the other hand.
Time for the IPA. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're getting into the IPA territory, which, Ryan Fields, he came from Beechwood Blendery, which is, we're just going to say it's Beechwood Brewing, and Pizza Port, 2 breweries that are notorious, is that the right word? That are very well
Infamous?
regarded.
Famous, renowned.
Yeah, notorious is the wrong word. Well known for making excellent IPAs of all kinds and varieties when it comes to, West Coast or black IPA, any kind of hoppy beer they can brew, it's usually going to be pretty damn good. And so I'm not holding Ryan accountable or putting any kind of undue pressure on him, but these better be good because
if you go back,
Looking,
was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we did the Pizza Port. So
we did do Pizza Port beers. Yeah.
so,
By the way,
looking at the
this
tail
beer-
of the tape on this beer, on paper, this beer should be amazing. It is 7%, which is the perfect percent for an IPA. It has hops from around the world. That's why they call it Fields Trip, because you have U.S. Mosaic, Australian Galaxy hops, New Zealand Motueka hops, and Mandarina Bavaria, which are German hops.
Ooh, that's an interesting lineup.
And those are all great hops too. So it's a West Coast. It looks clear. This IPA, I'm building my hopes up. Let's see where we get.
I like the theme of the beer with using the different hops from around the world in the name, and it works with their name,
Also, the can looks like the intro to F is for Family. If anybody ever watched that,
Yeah,
show.
it does.
Yeah. So it's totally that like trippy 70s kind of psychedelic looking thing.
I like it. It's colorful, but still classy. It's not like a cartoon vomit kind of thing.
Right. It's not just a binged nerdle. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Hypolangelo or whatever the fuck. That's our new IPA.
So this is a very, very nice aroma. This is very clean. I'm getting some little bit of a dank character, but very heavily on the citrus side, I think, with some pine in there.
It the candy mosaic comes through really big. Like
Yeah.
they very clearly got the good mosaic, not the oniony mosaic. This is very, very much. I smell candy mosaic hops on the front.
It almost reminds me of a lemon drop, the hard candy.
Yeah. I think the malt character on this comes through just a little bit too on the nose. You can get kind of a nice crackery character on there, which I always look for that in IPAs now, whether it's hazies that are West Coast inspired or just straight up West Coast IPAs. I always want to get a little hint of that malt character on the nose because I think it helps with lifting up the hops overall and for a better experience.
Is it just me, or am I not getting a ton of bitterness off this beer?
I don't think it's just you. I didn't get too much. It seems pretty mellow.
What's weird is the Untapped description. Maybe somebody just put in whatever, but they're saying 100 IBU. And I'm like, this doesn't taste super bitter. It tastes less bitter than the last beer, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
It seems very late hop forward.
I'm not sure if this would. Yeah, I mean, because it looks like all the descriptions in here are from the cans, and then the artwork is the actual label artwork, like if it were not on a can, like the original artwork.
Right.
So it looks like Wild Fields has control over their Untapped, but I don't know. Maybe it is 100 IBU, and we're just not getting that. I mean, IBU is subjective. I think. I mean, it's a estimated calculation that may be there, but because of how the beer is made and what's in it, maybe you're not picking it up as much. But it definitely does not come off like I think the Czech Pils came off a little more bitter perceptively than this.
It did, yeah.
I would
for
agree.
sure.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, honestly. There's still a ton of hop character in this beer. It's just not a super bitter beer.
Yeah, it's coming off like a kind of like a hazy kind of beer, like a West Coast hazy in terms of like the mouthfeel, the low bitterness, the fruitiness of it. I'm not calling it a hazy at all. I'm just saying it has notes of that. Now that West Coast hazy is a thing, I have something to compare this beer to that I wouldn't otherwise. And that's it's coming off more of like a, I don't know, I don't want to say sweet, but more of like a candy IPA. And I mean that in a good way.
I think they're doing what I like, which is the best of both worlds, which is you have the dryness and the clarity of a West Coast beer, but then you have the lack of bitterness of just hop bursting that you get out of the hazy stuff without going into that sweetness and that kind of gritty mouthfeel. And I really like how it works. I think this beer tastes really good.
The mouthfeel on this, I think, is spot on. Like it's fluffy and a little creamy. It kind of lingers a little bit, and I think that's actually due to a little bit of residual sweetness as well, because it does have a sticky quality to it. It does finish dry and clean, but that mouthfeel is on point. Like this is great for what it is, and it's got 144 uniques on Untapped, and it's got 3.9, which is pretty high. But I think for me, this is definitely a 4.5 territory kind of beer. Maybe not 4.5, like 4.42. So, maybe it's the 100 IBU thing that's throwing people off, because it's not bitter. Like
it would be, I think what would be the interesting test is to try this not after having the last two beers that we had that kind of boosted that sort of hoppiness.
That's a good point.
Because I feel like I still had lingering like expectations of bitterness from the last two hanging out. And so maybe that's what is, kind of causing that. I'd be interested to know from somebody who hasn't had the last two, and B, somebody who doesn't necessarily like IPAs, because I definitely agree with you. Like it doesn't seem as notably hoppy, but it'd be interesting just to kind of do like a blind test of this with someone.
No, that's a good point, because the first two beers, a Czech Pils and a Red Ale, we didn't expect them to be as bitter and hop forward as they were. And in hindsight, maybe try this one first, because those two kind of stole our, the bitterness thunder from this beer. Or it's just, like I said, it could be just recipe construction. I don't know. Yeah. Or it's just a mistake on Untapped with the IBU.
Honestly, I bet it's just like either recipe simulator weirdness or just putting something into Untapped for the sake of putting something, like, hey, it's really hoppy. But I think, honestly, the days of the super, super bitter IPA are long over. Like, they've been over for a long time.
Yeah.
Even, like, Ruination got redesigned, like, years ago to be, like, less ruiny.
Yeah, I think a super bitter beer that I buy on the regular is Swami's. That's like as bitter as I really get for IPA that I drink regularly. And, I mean...
Even stuff like Hop Stupid was a very bitter, very old school double IPA.
I do buy that too, yeah.
You don't see Hop Stupid on the shelf that much anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
No, definitely not.
I have the shitty Chevron station down the street, and then there's another Chevron station a block over that's not so shitty, but they don't have good beer. But they always both have Hop Stupid.
And there's like the quality beer stores nearby.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, there's the Rundown Liquor Store that's on Paris Avenue. They also always have Hop Stupid, and they have 22s of Hop Stupid.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
I've
Okay,
got
so
I'm
note to
surrounded
self.
by Hop Stupid.
Chevron has the monopoly on Hop Stupid.
The Lagunitas in the pocket of Big
Are you
Chevron.
sure they're not selling it to pour into your car?
It's actually ups the octane.
I mean, they're both shitty. Well, the one Chevron's shitty because they always put beer on the shelf, but they never put it in the system. So I'm like stoked to see something new. I take it up to the counter and they're like, "Oh, you can't buy this because it's not in the system." And I want to wring their neck. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, put it in the system. Charge. Okay, how about I give you $15? Does that sound reasonable? They're like, "Oh, we can't take it." Yeah, fine. But it's always fresh. I'll give them that. Everything they carry is always, and they have Stone distribution. So Stone's
Okay.
pretty good at making sure everything's being rotated out, but everything is fresh, so I'll give them that.
It sounds like the employees are not putting it in the system and then taking it home themselves. If it's always fresh, that means someone's taking it home.
No,
Yeah.
this is what happened at my local Save a Minute market, which is there's one guy there, the beer guy. And although instead of just saying we can't sell you this, they would just call his cell phone and be like, "Hey, how much for this one?" And he'd be like, "This many dollars." They're like, "Okay," and they would ring it in.
Yeah.
So their customer service was better, but they had
And
the same
also,
problem.
I'm also the guy when I pick up a 6-pack of like, I don't know, something that's super hoppy that's limited and it's $16. They look at me funny, like, "Why are you spending $16 on 6 beers?" And I'm like, "Why are you judging me? I'm
Like,
giving you
don't judge me."
$16. Like, take my money and like be happy." Like,
John,
don't
you need to go to
make me feel
better
like crap.
places.
Well, I do go to like La Bodega and this places like that in Gerard's. Like they're on point. They know what they're doing, but I can't always go there. So
Okay.
there's a shitty Chevron station down the street that I'm forced to go to.
I mean, honestly, if my gas station had Hop Stupid, I'd probably buy some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Overall, though, this is a fantastic beer.
Yeah.
As far as like, they've been open for a little while now, but right out the gate, for this being my first IPA from Wild Fields, they nailed it. This is really good. This is really, really good. So, the final beer, R2J2. Let's see.
I will go get my share.
All right.
No.
Okay. R2J2 is because of the Fields, Ryan, Russell, Jacqueline, and Jocelyn. 2 R's and 2 J's.
Oh, this is the one with pineapple.
Yes.
We got to figure out like a TikTok meme where like John like drops a beer and Sarah's like catches it and then
She hands it over to the next
and then
stream.
like you hand it over to Tim and then Tim's like I'm like whoa. That's how we'll win on TikTok. Not
But
until
it'll only be good until tomorrow.
No, it's true.
TikTok is not officially going away until after the election. So you don't want to piss anybody off by getting rid of TikTok.
I don't
But
want
you
to go
can-
down that
you
rabbit
can't keep downloading it though. If you already have it, you can use it, but they'll take it off the store tomorrow.
Right.
hole. Maybe.
So ridiculous. Give me
So
a
get your
break.
TikTok downloads in, kids.
That's right.
Okay. All right, up next from Wild Fields, we've got R2J2. This is a double IPA coming in at 8.5% alcohol by volume, and it's made with Huel, melon, and citra hops. And fun fact, this beer got its name from the owners and I guess their immediate family. It's the Fields. In the Fields family, there's Ryan and Russell, and then Jacqueline and Jocelyn. There's 2 R's and 2 J's. So that's where they got R2J2.
Like R2D2.
Like R2D2.
Like
Isn't
From
there also a DJ or an electronic artist with the same sort of setup? I can't remember his name.
I believe it's yes, it's pretty close.
Because like the can art looks kind of like street art, like graffiti kind of thing.
RJD2. That is
Okay.
a DJ.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I was
do like
thinking of
can
From the
art.
Jewels.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Also,
What'd you say, Sarah?
that guy's real name is Ramble John Cron, which is a pretty cool name already.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, like his stage name is like RJD2, okay, but his real name is Ramble John Cron, which is just kind of dope.
No, Ramble John? Who
Yeah.
made that up?
That's John by the third show, Ramble John.
Fourth show, John.
No, that's not happening anymore. I should also say this is made with pineapple as well. So that's pretty important.
I'm skeptical of pineapple. I'm not a huge fan.
It is. I haven't had it yet, but it's sitting on the desk and it's just wafting up pineapple smell, like as it's sitting next to me.
It does. So it says it's got a big hop aroma from Huel melon and Citra hops, and it's offset with pineapple in the fermenter.
Okay.
Putting it up, like I definitely get that really nice subtle tropical sweetness. It smells like pineapple. Oh, go ahead.
It doesn't immediately blast me in the face with fruit, which is good.
I mean,
Pictured like a hose of fruit.
That's right. It's grapes.
well, last show we had that the pineapple, was it a Goza from Hen House?
Yes.
And I remember that vaguely, and I don't think the pineapple shouted out as much from that as I'm getting from this.
Yeah, the pineapple from the Hen House beer is called Juiced with pineapple. That was definitely more integrated. It was kind of like a seasoning with the pineapple more than like a feature with the pineapple.
Yeah.
And this definitely is pineapple forward. I personally like pineapple, like just the fruit itself. And then when it's used right in beers, I think it's a pretty flexible fruit. And I think it's okay in this. Like it's definitely pineapple forward on the nose for sure.
Yeah, it's coming across very pineapple juicy to me.
Is it overwhelming the hops though? Like we have Huel melon and
No,
Citra.
the hop character is coming through really big.
Yeah, I think it's a nice balance of the fruit and the hops. You get like kind of I get like a citrusy kind of stink on the nose, like a funk kind of thing.
There's a question if it had a phony pineapple taste in the chat, and it doesn't actually. It has a very much the fruit taste, not the juice. Right? It tastes like they put fruit in there, and you're getting the character of like a biting into a pineapple piece versus drinking pineapple juice.
I can't speak for Ryan or how he makes his beers, but I would assume he's going to go for using the freshest, like real fruits, not a concentrate kind of thing. And it's not that I'm hating on people that use or brewers that use concentrate. It's just you get a different vibe from fresh fruit versus concentrate.
Oh, for sure.
So the fresh fruit vibe comes through in this definitely. Like Jason said, it's like it's been fruited well when it actually tastes like you're eating that fruit, like biting into the flesh of the fruit. And that's what you get from this.
That being said, I don't love it.
Same.
I'm not a big fan of pineapple in general. I like a grilled pineapple with a little bit of caramelization, but I think it's a little bit too much, too sweet of a fruit for me. I don't like pineapple juice and stuff. And as a result, I feel like I would like this IPA better if it didn't have pineapple, if it was just kind of a bitter double IPA. But that's just my personal taste. I'm not a big pineapple fan.
Sarah, you going to say something?
Very similar to what Jason was saying. I like pineapple fresh. I don't need it grilled. Like I appreciate the fruitiness of the pineapple. But I usually will only have it in small batches, and this is about as much as I want of this beer. It's good. It's really tasty. I like the fruity aspect of it. It is very pineapple-y. But this is as much as I want. The other beers, I will drink more of that. But this is like a nice little dessert, kind of refreshing palate cleanser, I guess. But I don't want more than that.
It's also 8.5%, and it's a pretty big. It's a double IPA, so like I mean, I don't think it's just the pineapple that's giving you that heavy feeling. Like it's a pretty hefty beer as it is. And I agree. I wouldn't want more than a can of this. I think that's like the limit for me as well.
I don't think it's necessarily, to me. Again, we're on personal opinions here. I don't think it's drinking necessarily like an 8.5. I don't think
I would agree with you on that.
It's not drinking as a heavy IPA, and that's probably because the bitterness is balanced out by the fruit juice, which is making it not like, oh my god, hop overwhelm. I mean, I'm a fan of pineapple. I like pineapple. I like tropical drinks. I like it. That's one of my jams, and this is really nice. But I will say, I think I'm getting more of the hop character instead of the like fruit character when I'm tasting it. But it's very balanced, which I think is cool.
I think the pineapple combined with the perceived sweetness from 8.5% alcohol is making it come as a pretty sweet beer to me, and which isn't usually my preference.
Yeah, so. Compared to the other things we've had, for sure, this is like hella sweet compared to those.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm calling it heavy. I think it's not because it's like under fermented or sweet in that sense. Like there's a lot of unfermented sugars left in the beer. I think it's the pineapple and the hop character and the body, like in the bigness of the beer. It's just one can is enough. Like I want them to experiment with. I mean, I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they will, with the pineapple in something else that's lighter. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a goza along the line that has some kind of fruit in it, and maybe they could try pineapple on that, or even in the last beer, the Fields Trip beer. Try doing a fruit version of that, because that was so fruity anyway. I don't know, maybe it'd be overwhelming, but using fruit in a double IPA, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever do that. I can't say never, but it's not the first style that comes to mind to add fruit to. You know what I mean? And
to be honest,
it's not that they didn't execute it well. It's
no,
just,
I was gonna say the beer came out really good. I'm just like, is it really my flavor profile preference? Probably not, but it's a really well-made beer. And I gotta say, for all of these beers, there are not like young breweries always have like problems with diacetyl and stuff like that. And although you said they've been open for a couple of years now.
I can't say a couple. I want to say they opened last year officially.
I'm thinking 2019, maybe early, from what I recall, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I can't say for sure. I should have done more research, but they're as far as breweries go, they're brand new.
Also, and keeping in the vein of Beechwood and Pizza Port, I'm looking at their website right now. They have 19 beers on tap.
Nice.
19 house beers and like all sorts of stuff like Farmhouse Belgian, Brown Ale, English Mild, the Wit Beer, Saison, Berliner Weiss. Like they have just everything. Like, but if you think about it, when you go to Beechwood or Pizza Port, they've always got, a dozen more beers for you to try that they made.
I remember going to Beechwood in Long Beach for the first time, and they had 7 beers on tap. And if you've ever been to the brewery in Long Beach, they've got the bar, and the taps are behind the bar, and then there's a big window that you can see into the brew house, and that window is basically covered with green chalkboard tiles of all their beers. And when I went there, you could clearly see into the brew house. There was only like 6 or 7 on the wall, and now there's always like 50 beers on tap there. It's incredible, and they have guest beers there too, but it's mostly Beechwood beers. So it doesn't surprise me that Ryan is going off that, and it's nice to have that
And-
variety.
And we've seen. I'm not going to call anybody out because that's rude, but we've seen breweries that had big name brewers. They opened their own place, and then they had struggles with quality problems, like struggles with diacetyl or off flavors and stuff like that. We've had that with breweries that were, again, well-known brewers that moved from one place to start their own place, and then had growing pains going on to a new system. And I don't get any of that in this beer. Like,
No.
everything is just very clean, very high quality.
Would you? I don't want you to name names, but were those brewers from breweries like Beechwood and Pizza Port? Because I think any brewer that comes out of Pizza Port, really, he's got my wheels turning now.
A certain brewery that is named after the namesake famous brewer who brewed out of a San Diego brewery. We've had a bunch of their beer and have had very mixed experiences.
Well,
Huh.
really quick on the Wild Fields, you guys were talking about the history and the info. It doesn't necessarily say when they started, but they said they moved to Atascadero in 2018, and that's when the idea started. So I would assume somewhere 18, 19 is probably when they open.
Yeah, they moved there to open a brewery. Like,
I was in
Ryan left Beechwood to open a new brewery. So
I was in Atascadero January of this year for the Tamale Festival. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's Wildfields, the brewery restaurant, is immediately next to one of the big parks in Atascadero. And so I parked there, but I went across to the park for the Tamale Festival. But the line for getting into Wildfields was actually pretty big, and people were talking about it. Like, as I'm walking away from the Tamale Festival towards the brewery, people are like, "Oh, I'm so excited! It's open! I've heard nothing but good stuff."
Well, hold on, check this out though. It's his passion for high quality beer shines, excuse me, and is complemented by fresh, flavorful sausage menu. Hey, sausage cup.
What?
sausages.
And then apparently the building that they are in, it was actually a bowling alley, and they have arcade games, foosball, air hockey, and as a parent, the always appreciated toddler corner. I don't need that anymore because my kid's grown up, but I remember when we were going to breweries a while back when he was younger, having like a kids area was always super cool.
I mean, the stuff that they have for kids could take them from toddlers to children to teenagers to adults. Like,
exactly. You got the entire family experience. I love it.
Cradle to grave.
I was born at a brew. I was born at a brewery. I'll die at a brewery.
Graduated from the toddler corner to a pub stool.
was born into the beer. Yeah, overall, though, again, these are all very impressive beers. Again, on the show, we're always being super critical of anything we try, and I mean, I think everything we've said about these beers and us being super critical, they're all on point. Like, we're just nitpicking and saying, well, maybe I'd like this, blah blah blah. I'm sure it's not going to have any influence on anybody trying these beers. Like,
yeah,
without question. Anything they have on tap is probably going to be excellent. And I just want to say thanks to Ryan for reaching out, sending us these beers, especially right now when breweries everywhere are struggling to sell beer.
Yeah. Based on this spread, this is a place that I would be excited to go and try anything on the menu, because everything we've had is super well made.
Not a bad one in the bunch.
Yeah, maybe it's time for a field trip.
What?
Oh shit! And honestly, a lot of brew pubs get by with pretty shitty beer. So I'm really glad to see that this being a brew pub, they're still like rocking really high quality beer. This is top notch. I mean, Pizza Port and Beechwood are also brew pubs, kind of, but
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're brew pubs and they're production breweries too. Yeah.
Right. Right. That's why I say kind of.
Well, I think they've had more time to hone their production, and to have the same quality of production coming out of something that, you know, is only a couple years old is always impressive to see.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's a good spot to end it. Real quick, I am working next weekend, but we are backlogged on shows because I'm lazy. So we don't have to worry about recording next weekend unless you want to. I'll be home at 5.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind taking a week off.
Okay.
I've been kind of thinking it would be all right to have a break.
Cool. Y'all can stop recording. And Jason, if you want to tell Sarah how to save it, because
I'll do that.
I don't record that way.
So for me, I just go to my iCloud and all my recordings are there. It's just then it edits for me too.
I wish.
My dudes, I was trying not to sniff into the mic. Since I have become older, like IPAs give me major sniffy runny nose. Like it's the hops. It's the hops. I've figured it out.
You're allergic to the hops.
Yeah, I think I might be just slightly, like just enough to make my nose run after I drink like half of an IPA.
I will say
Did you stop your recording?
Goddamn. Oh,
I did stop recording. Yeah.
Okay. Don't close it. We'll save it.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are a trooper because I didn't hear you sniff your nose
Yeah,
once. Maybe you
not
saved
at
it
all.
when you were like going to get the beer.
No,
from
I
Jason.
would run to the hallway and then I'd be like, and then I'd come back in here.
Yeah, if you're on and you sniff your nose, like I'm not gonna stop like and no, I can cut
John's
that
a
out.
master editor. He'll cut it all out.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just when
With all of us on one channel or on our own channel now, it's probably easy. You just basically, I would imagine by default, you leave us muted while other people are talking unless we have something to say.
I strip all the silence out, and then sometimes you'll hear like someone adjust their mic or cough or something, and like I edit with my iPad and my Apple Pencil, so while it's moving, I can see where that noise is, and just like I go like this with my Apple Pencil, and it just deletes it right there.
You got to keep us human.
Well, I do actually. That's a good point. I do to a certain extent, like especially when we're talking over one another. Because I'm not going to mention another beer podcast, but there's one that's highly edited to where it sounds like they're not talking naturally, and you have to have those. No, it's not yours. It's there. You have to have that like kind of loose element to it. And there is a fine line. You're totally right, though, Tim. Like I do sometimes leave those things in there. Like a lot of times when you agree with something, Tim, you go like this, yeah, and that's just a noise, but that's how you like interact with the conversation. So I don't cut that out because that's how you interact. And sometimes I'll even move that around to make it, because there is a little bit of a delay with us recording. And
we move it to make it really offensive, where it's just like, yeah, here's some horrible racist comment, right? How about you, Tim? Yep.
Yep.
But even whenever we get back to recording in my house, the new mixer I bought has individual outputs for every channel. So I'm going to record everything separate on my Zoom recorder as well. So
Excellent.
I'll have a master track that's everything, and then individual tracks. And if I want to keep recording this way and editing this way, I can do that. So a fun side effect of lockdown.
I mean, just from a standard editing perspective, like having all the tracks is amazing. Like that's awesome.
No, yeah, and it has saved me in the past where something has happened where I would normally just cut a whole segment out because it's a bunch of garbage, but then I can just separate everything and make it sound nice. It's nice to have that flexibility. Would you guys be interested, maybe not Tim, I don't know what you're doing, but in doing the last 2 beers for Patreon? Since we have
I'll
them.
drink them.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm here to drink.
It's up to you, Tim. No pressure.
I mean, sorry.
I have a family.
Yeah, I'm like, I got some things to do, guys. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I usually am not. Well, my son is at his dad's house, so I have like no responsibilities right now. So yeah, cool.
Sarah's down to party.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, good.
Yay, party.
Yeah.
Oh no, I went to another video.
I would, but unfortunately, no. I gotta go grab my stuff from downtown and whatnot.
Okay. Oh yeah, you have to go to Highland Park. That's right.
Yep.
All right, Tim. Well,
thanks, guys. Thanks,
Then-
everyone. Sarah, good
Bye,
seeing you
Dan.
again.
Yeah.
we're off next weekend, so we'll see you. I'm gonna try to call Eric because I don't know if he was planning on coming down next weekend or the following weekend with beers from Arizona Wilderness. But if he's coming down the following weekend, then that will be what we're doing, and I'll work all that out. So
Okay, cool.
Real quick, Tim, I'm going to hand you this. You get, no. There.
Wait. This side.
No. Yeah, you
hey,
got
bring
it.
it
Yay.
We're not gonna make it on TikTok with this amateur hour
No,
bullshit. You guys.
we got to practice, man.
That's so funny. I would love, just as a side note, if we can swing it and everybody can find stuff, I would love to do an Oktoberfest show at some point.
I would actually be super down for our next show being an Oktoberfest show.
Well, depending on obviously the Arizona dude.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Then
And, it all depends on when he's coming down. So if he's coming down this weekend, then it's probably not going to happen. And then we'll try to do Oktoberfest, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. You guys have fun.
We could do it in October like the rest of America does.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter when we do it. I would like to put that in there in the running for sometime in.
No, it's
a
a easy theme. I haven't had any Oktoberfest beers this year.
Same.
So yeah, I'm here for it.
All right, cool.
And the last time we did a showdown of Oktoberfest beers was like 5 years ago. So
Was it really?
That's crazy.
probably.
All right, Tim. I'll let you
All
go.
right, take it easy. See y'all.
Later,
Bye,
man.
Tim.